Hi, this is Digital Femme and welcome to my channel. So what is this channel all about? You know what? It's pretty much about everything. It's about anything I want to discuss. And it's pretty much what it'll say in the title of the video. So right now, I don't know what the title of the video is, but I will tell you that. So it's Monday, and how was everybody? How was everybody? How is everybody? I said a while back that I was going to start doing just really low-key YouTube videos, and by low-key meaning just putting on the camera and just talking whatever comes in my head, which usually is pretty much all my other videos, except the one thing is I literally do not even think about what I'm going to say a minute before or 5 minutes before. I literally just press record. Now, hold on. Don't think that this is going to be boring, even though it's starting off to be boring. So just hold on, everybody. I will say one thing. Let me tell you that I know that there was a video I did about how to handle when you have such a heavy workload and how to get through it, something like that, and how not to get stressed over it. And I believe if I do find that video, which shouldn't be too hard to find, I will put the link in the description. But basically, I felt that today. It was like tomorrow is a podcast production day for our team. And I work for a marketing agency in Toronto. And what that means is we're going to have 3 guests, and this is the first time we are recording 3 guests in one day in a span of, about 5 hours. So let's see how that goes. And I'm just so happy we got to onboard all the 3 guests today, checking their video and audio. Had already written notes for each episode, content for each episode for our co-hosts, Craig Dunkerley and Claudia Harvey. And I thought that was going to be a task, but it wasn't. All I needed to do was not even think about the amount of work and just do it and just freaking do it. And what happened was it just got done. So I guess basically when there's so much workload to do and you don't know what to do next, you just pick the easiest thing, and so gets out of your mind, or you tackle the hardest. But I find that when I tackle the more challenging task, because it takes longer, all these other little tasks that could be taken care of early on kind of still is in my brain and kind of bugs me. So I find that if I tackle the little simple tasks, it gets done, even though there's a lot of them. They're just out of the way. It makes me feel good because I know that my task checklist is cleared up. Then I'm ready to do the bigger tasks. Does that even make sense to you? So do you guys find you have an approach or a mindset when it comes to tackling a heavy workload? And by heavy workload, that's really subjective, isn't it? Because some people love the stress and the adrenaline of deadlines, even though, and some people fear them, but yet they perform their best when they do it last minute. I noticed that I used to be like that. It depends on certain projects. Like if it's something to do with writing an essay or studying, well, yes. I have been known to pull things off last minute. However, not in a case where there are so many moving parts. And by so many moving parts, it's finding the guests, scheduling, booking, communication with the guests back and forth, content writing, communication with the team, and then the co-hosts, and just making sure then testing all the technical aspects of it. I don't personally do that. Thank God there is a team that does that, but there's so moving parts that nothing can be done last minute. No. Not in the podcast production world, not even in the film world, not even anything where you're accountable to an audience and to a team. Basically, that's what I'm saying. And this thing keeps slipping. I don't know. I guess this topic is going to be about podcasts, but not really. So here's the thing. It's the one thing I do like about being a podcast producer. I guess that's kind of like one of the hats I'm wearing, is that I get to connect with a lot of interesting people and talk to them. Like there is this gentleman named Sean Mitchell, and he is in Denver, Colorado, and he is the president of the Denver Tesla Club. And I have been following him for a few months now, and he's very active on Twitter. He's all about electric vehicles, and he's, really passionate about renewable energy. And so I've been following him, and when I knew that we would start a podcast, I knew at the back of my mind that he would be one person I would reach out to be a guest. And now tomorrow he's going to be a guest. So even though I'm following him on Twitter, I finally got a chance to interface with him on Zoom so we can onboard him, test his audio and video. And by the way, he's got an awesome radio voice. He really does. And what I love about it is whatever photo he has on his LinkedIn or website or on online, he looks exactly like that. Exactly like that. It's almost like I was talking to his profile photo on Zoom, except I could hear his voice and his mouth was moving. That's how exact. And he's a good looking guy. He sounds really, really, and check this out. So he has driven over 20 Tesla models. Imagine that. I mean, that's something. He's also a realtor out in Denver, Colorado. So you know what? I feel like I feel like I can talk about podcast guests that are coming on to the podcast. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So this topic today is going to be about, like, I'm talking about podcasts and being a podcast producer, but I'm also talking about one of our guests. We actually have 3 guests tomorrow. Sean Mitchell is one. Another one is Rory Bloomfield. He is the director of, the director of properties and business growth for BG Wealth Properties. And basically it is a company that invests in, currently the project is in Owen Sound, Ontario, and they invest in residential and commercial and like mixed use properties. They renovate it, not a no-brainer, but they renovate it, and then they add value to the community by upgrading the buildings and leasing it out to businesses and like interesting people that can add value to the community. The third guest tomorrow is Sheldon Dingwall. He is the founder and president of Dingwall Guitars. And if you don't know Dingwall Guitars, they specialize in creating bass guitars. And what's so special about Dingwall Guitars is Sheldon actually designs the fanned fret. Fanned meaning, when you play guitar, oh, look, we got a guitar here, except this is not a bass guitar. It is an acoustic Yamaha, I believe. Whoa, I don't want to okay, so here's the fret, and if you see here, the fret is like straight parallel to the side. So it's like the frets are up and down, like each of these are a fret between these bars, or fret, never mind, fret here, fret. So with Sheldon's bass guitars, it still has the long neck, but the frets are fanned like this, like they're more diagonal, so they're fanned. And it's, instead of doing this, which is not really ergonomic, it's more natural when you hold it like this. So I feel like they say, I've heard some bass players, or I've read a few of the bass players' comments on some of the bass forums, is that they really appreciate the fan fret design because it's just so much easier to play. I don't know, I'm just saying. So yeah, 3 guests. What else? Then we have the next podcast recording on Wednesday, December 2, and we are scheduling 4 guests, and by we meaning me. I've got 2 guests scheduled, and I'm just waiting to hear on 2 others. So here's the thing: if you are listening to me, I will put the link in the description to the podcast that I am producing, and so we don't have a lot of followers currently on YouTube. Having a YouTube channel is just more like a nice to have. Of course, podcast is primarily audio. So we are on Spotify and Google Podcasts and all that. And we are also on the C-Suite podcast network, which I will also put a link to that. And C-Suite is basically a network of C-Suite people. So C-Suite meaning CEO, CFO, COOs, any chief of something. And there is a really interesting and valuable, I keep saying the word valuable, this is the 3rd time I've said valuable today, okay, now 4th, group of people in that network, really. Just wonderful, wonderful people, very knowledgeable with a lot of experience, all wanting to help out. So I will put those links in the description that I have mentioned, and I'm really excited for tomorrow. So I want to get a good night's sleep, because although call time for our co-host is 9 a.m. EST, I am not in Toronto. I'm 1 hour behind. So that means it's 8 a.m. for me, and I'm not a morning person. So all right, I'll probably wake up at 7:15, get a coffee and prepare, go over the notes and whatnot. Or maybe I'll just get up at 8. Maybe I'll wake up at 8:30. Okay, I'll do it at 8:30. I could do that. I can get ready in 30 minutes because I don't have nowhere to go, no transportation. The only transportation I have is to my bedroom, to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to here, my workspace. Yeah. So what else? What else? So please, thank you for staying this long. If you stay this long, thank you, because I don't know what it is. Is it like you're just wanting to see what else I come up with, which is awesome? Or are you just, I don't know, you're just like doing something else and you're just letting this play? Just saying. So I'm going to cut this short. I'm kind of feeling a little bit of hungry. Thank you for staying on and visiting. I'll think about it. I think after this podcast tomorrow, I will talk about the podcast more and what the guests say, and then put the link. So because we record it, it's really pre-recorded, the podcast, and we roll them out. So a podcast always airs every Thursday at 6 a.m. EST on YouTube, Spotify, here, there, everywhere. Anyway, I'll put those links. So wherever you are in this world, thank you for watching. Have a great day and have a great evening. And if you like anything about this video, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing. That's all I'm saying. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.